Capital, you're proud of your color. Chop, 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 like as ever.
Welcome back, everyone, to my channel. This week I will be focusing on, again, book reviews. As you can see, my pets never want to leave me, always in my zone. This week I will be doing another book review. This one is going to be focused on a Caribbean author who again has impacted me through his words, and I want to transfer that on to you all if you are interested. I've only read one of his texts, but I have 3 books that I will be having us all take in throughout this video. And I want us to know about him because he is phenomenal. His name is Earl Lovelace, and if you've heard of him, yay! And if you haven't, please do some research. He is a phenomenal Trinidadian. His written work is amazing, and I can't wait to show you. So the first text I will be talking about is Dragon Can't Dance. As you see in the tabs, I've taken so many notes because this text is worth, I just don't know how to explain it. It's like the way he wrote this text, it was like he was speaking to me. At that particular moment in my life, I felt like he was speaking to me, and it gave me such a huge appreciation on everything that I was going through. So Dragon Can't Dance is about a Black Caribbean calypso, I would say masquerader, who is very upset about what's going on in Trinidad because he realizes that after the rebellion, nothing has really changed. White people are still holding government jobs. Black people are still in poverty. Although they're not on the plantation, they still aren't doing anything to actually improve the community. And then the West Indians have come to take over the jobs that they didn't like. So there's that tension as well. So what I really like about this text is that it centers around soca and the Caribbean and their heritage. And because when I first read it, I was just diving into soca. I was like, oh my God, I love it. It's so happy and carefree. And for him to actually break it down and tell you like, no, this is not what it was about. It's actually about us who were slaves at the time, who used soca as a way to rebel against the European oppressors. Because basically, to give you a little bit of history on the origins of soca and Caribana and all of these events that celebrate the Caribbean, it basically started out as a rebellion against the white oppressors who had their own masquerader ball and things like that, but the Black people weren't actually invited. So what happened is they used soca and carnival and parades to actually talk back to their oppressor. So the costumes that they used were more to either reinforce the oppressor's idea of them, or to show them like things that they can aspire to be. So some people would dress up like in all black, oil painted, and like that would be the response to what the oppressor thought that they looked like, as well as some people would dress up like with queen crowns on like royal outfits to show them what they actually are, to get them back to their heritage and to reflect things that actually show them positive aspects. So anyways, the good thing about this text is that it is very simple to read. It is a very short read as well. It's 131 pages, but it's 131 pages of gold. I've really enjoyed reading this book because it really helped me make an appreciation with soca, and I was able to actually understand why I actually like the music, because it talks about joy and happiness, but there's always that sense of rebellion and pressures to, you know, be who you are and accept who you are regardless of the people who are saying you're worthless. So really good read. So Salt is another text that I've begun reading but haven't actually finished. I'm halfway through the text. This one is a little bit more of a slow read, but I love it because I'm an educator, and this text is basically about the Caribbean and how they are attempting to educate and empower the children, as well as go into the government to make changes that can empower the people who are affected by the government's choices. So, it basically is an interwoven story of about, I think, 3 or 4 characters. I haven't read it since last year, so I'm not too familiar. So what I'm going to do is just dive into the summary, and hopefully that jogs my memory so I can give you a little bit more feedback on the text. But here we go. Salt is an extraordinary tour de force by one of the preeminent literary presence in the Caribbean, a novel which explores like none before in the intermingling of cultures that is contemporary West Indian experience. So everything else is basically a review. Where is his summary? Oh, here. No, this is something about his... Where's the summary? I guess this is the summary. Like, if you see, like, there are various reviews about the text, and I'm guessing that they are summarizing it in their own way. But I really like the summaries that I had from Nunguki because it actually talked about the book. So let me see what else they have to say. Although relatively slim, the novel packs in an astonishing quantity of historical and social detail. There is an element of political diacism, but it is offset by Lovelace's humorous tone and his seductive, painterly boldness with the language. That was from the Sunday Times. Mail on Sunday has to say, why is this writer not better known? Salt, his first novel for a decade, follows the lives of 2 extraordinary men in contemporary Trinidad. The novel sees with characters Lovelace women are powerful and convincing, as the story swoops with ease from the colonial past to the present. Between the lines, the nature of freedom and cultural identity is explored, but what gives Salt its force is superb lyrical writing and a moving sense of history being enacted in the lives of individuals. So this review/summary actually pinpoints most of what I remember in the text, because I do remember it is about 2 men, one who is trying to help the kids and empower the kids through music, and the other one is to try to help and empower the kids through education. And I feel like now that I'm like trying to be a drama teacher, that you need both. You need the arts and you need the literature in order to get a better understanding of what's going on. So I really do like the way he intertwines the story. And at first you're like, oh my gosh, what is he talking about? Why is it such a slow read? But if you get into it, you start to realize that the stuff that he's talking about is just everyday life in the Caribbean. And the reason why it's such a slow read is because this is stuff that you're known to. You are aware of these things, so you're not like, oh yeah, this is new. It's more like, okay, I know this happened. Can we move on to the next part? I'm very like, because I was so in love with Dragon Can Dance, to read this one after it doesn't do it justice. Like, I feel like if I had the opportunity, I would read this first without the bias of Dragon Can Dance, because Dragon Can Dance is filled with so much that you really do get captivated and you feel like every book should be like this. But because he's a versatile author, I can understand why the texts are completely different. And that's actually what you want from an author, to give you new material each time that they sit down and write. So I do appreciate this text. It's just, I need to finish it to find the oomph that I'm looking for, because I'm only halfway through, and halfway through there's a whole lot that I can miss that may be taking the story to a whole new level. So the last text I want to bring up by Earl Lovelace is Just a Movie. I'm not too sure what this text is about. However, because I was so excited to get more books from the authors that I got from that one post-colonial class, I decided to get a few that seemed interesting to me. So this is what the book is about. In Trinidad, the 1970 Black Power rebellion is over. Its leaders rounded up. Sonny Boy, desperate to be recognized as one of them, forces the uninterested police to arrest him. King Kala, a singer, returns from detention and is sidelined in the Calypso tent, his music dated and unfashionable. They now hope to make their name in the movie that is being shot on the island, but that too does not end as expected. Still in search of recognition, Sonny Boy goes back to his hometown of Kiscado, and so we follow him and the townsfolk through their experiments in music, politics, religion, and love. As in their day-to-day adventures, be it a game of cricket, the short life of a corner shop, or a miracle at a funeral, they begin to see more clearly what their community has to offer for its liberation. Humorous and serious, sad and uplifting, Is Just a Movie is a radiant novel about small moments of magic in ordinary life. It sounds like pure gold. I'm actually really excited to start reading this. This one seems very interesting to me right off the bat. Of course, I really did like Salts, the start of it. But this, again, is just hitting to the meat of stuff that I feel like I would be really interested in, such as rebellion, Black power, and music, and the history of people in a small community that can actually make a difference if you actually pay attention to what they can contribute. So I'm really excited to read that, and I hope you guys get a chance to read it too. So that is it for today. I hope you have an opportunity to look into Earl Lovelace. I only had 3 texts. However, I know that he has a whole leap more that you can explore. I will take the time through my journey of exploration to continue to read his texts, as I feel like he's a very important Caribbean writer that all authors should have, or all readers should have the opportunity to read at least once in their life. If you do choose one text out of all that I've recommended, please choose Dragon Can't Dance. It is amazing. And if you like soca and if you like playing in Caribana and playing in Mass, it is a text that will give you a little historical background and the aspects that actually contribute to being in a successful rebellion. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next week.
A lot of them don't know how it came about. Sacrifice and pain, the motherland from which we've been taken out. Fields of sugar cane, the molasses that we've been draining out. Bound together with chains, no more 20,000 coming down with me. Join a part of the history.